Andrew, I have here, the first question I want to raise you is, how did you get to build and found Seez? And what is your plans for Portugal?
So we founded Seez back in 2015, 2016. Back then it was primarily an AI company. We started out with image recognition to try to, sort of like how Vivino works. You take a picture of a car and we would recognize what car is it, what is it worth, where can you buy it, and so on. Did pretty well in the Middle East. So in Dubai, we launched there. We finished off with like 2.8 million users, and then COVID hit. And that shifted the whole industry in general. So we were looking into, okay, what's moving now? Like, what's the new things that are actually coming there? Our app back then focused a lot more on selling cars like a marketplace, but we wanted to move into the transactional place, and that's what we started doing. We opened up in Scandinavia, in Denmark. I'm originally from Denmark, so we opened up there and started selling cars online and got a lot of expertise there. And we realized very quickly, in order for us to build a successful business, we had to implement our AI technologies into our website as well, so we'd be able to sell that. And the dealers started seeing that, saw that this is really interesting, this is different, can we use that as well? So we started offering that as a software for the dealers, and now started rolling it out to everybody there. And we've now started expanding into the rest of Europe, and Portugal is part of that as well. So we've partnered here with, working with Mario Fernandez as well, to talk about like how can we actually get into Portugal and how can we help the dealers here in the ecosystem.
Okay, thanks. How did you address digitalization and omni-channel for the automotive industry?
So, like I said, we launched a marketplace in Denmark and worked with the dealers there, and there's a few things that comes into actually building a digital solution, whether you're a dealer or a marketplace. But for the dealers, you need obviously the buying journey itself, the e-commerce journey. You need a back office system that can handle all these orders that are coming in. But we very quickly also learned that there's a lot more to it than just having your cars on a website and being able to transition. There's also an element of how do you make sure the right person is receiving the right car at the right time. So optimizing the journey, how do you make sure that the different steps are the right steps that they're seeing so they don't drop off. There's a lot of optimization there. Obviously the marketing is a critical part. Which customers should you advertise to? How much should you spend for the different groups? How much discount should you give, and so on and so forth. And then finally, the last product that we focused a bit more on here later is our customer support. As you know, as dealers, like customer support is one of the crucial things when it comes to selling a car. You almost can't sell a car, whether if it's online or offline. You can't sell it without talking to the customer in some sort of way. And we found a way that we can use and leverage the ChatGPT solutions to actually cover most of these questions we're getting for the customer support and give a much better experience for the customers 24 hours of the day. So that's the solutions that we've built out here and what we were working on.
Okay. Can you show us how Seezar works?
Yes, I can.
And what is the value added from using ChatGPT?
Definitely I can. So our bot works in 3 different areas. So there's the customer support, sales support, and then there's the leads collection. So it starts out by training on all your FAQs and everything you would have on your website, plus any documents that you might have wanted to be able to answer, like contracts, etc. And then we're able to present them with a bot that can answer most of the questions that a customer comes in with. Here we have 3 FAQs where the customer is coming in, and he can then ask, here's the first one, how do you do a trade-in price? We go and explain from our FAQ how the actual process works and how they know they are going to get a good trade-in price of the car. Secondly, we're going to ask some questions about how does the 14 days return and what happens after or when your warranty expires. We then pull the information straight from the FAQ about the 14 days return and the warranty, what works there. And you can ask follow-up questions for these ones here and it would answer it specifically. But we only answer exactly like it's put into your FAQ, so we don't get creative. Inside AI, there's something called temperature, and the higher the temperature, the more creative it is. We turn the temperature all the way down, so it's very factual when it comes to FAQs, but some of the other elements we turn up so that it can be more creative in its answers. In this example here, because it's an FAQ question, it focuses purely on what are the rules for the 14 days return. So it's 14 days, 200 kilometers, and it doesn't go in and say you can have more or less kilometers for that. So the next one here is basically a customer comes in and says, I'm interested in a car, I'm looking for a safe family car, needs Apple CarPlay, what we call it, child seats, and I have a budget of 6,000. It then goes in and searches the dealer's what we call it, website and finds all the cars that matches these requirements and gives it back, and even comes back with some of the terms and conditions for the down payment by scanning what is the terms and conditions you need to be aware of for the search criteria you made. This works by looking at both the internet for which cars actually match your criteria. It could be something like, I have 2 children and a dog, which one is the right car for me, and then comes back with it. Now I can also go in here and do a comparison between 2 other cars. This dealer here, for example, is a Mercedes dealer, but he wants to compare to an Audi. He doesn't have any Audis in the inventory. Again, we scan the internet, compare the 2 cars and say, here are the 2 differences between these cars, and give you a recommendation based on what you have been asking for beforehand, and what is the difference between these 2 cars here, so you can make the right decision. Again, by using a combination of their website, the internet, and some of our trusted sources to say, these are the, what we call it, details that we trust. And then finally, you can ask more general questions like, what is the details about the latest facelift for the Mercedes car? And we can again pull in the latest information here. It constantly learns from what's going on in the internet, so you don't have to sit and update all of this stuff here. When there's a new model coming out, you don't have to upload, these are the details for the new car. It's there already because we pulled directly from the internet about all this information. And you can ask it pretty much anything you would be able to ask ChatGPT. It'll come with an answer as well in these ones here. To be clear, we don't only use ChatGPT, we use multiple bots or multiple LLM models, but one of the primary ones is the ChatGPT 4. Then you can go in and ask about, do you have some of them in the inventory? And then we use some of our other AI modules to go in and see which car is actually best for you. In this example here was a white car because I've been looking at a lot of white cars. And finally, I go in and say, I would like to book a test drive on this. We pull out the information for a test drive, so you can actually test drive this car, pull out all the information, and then submit the request. Once you've submitted the request, a salesperson will be assigned directly, and he will get a notification that this customer here is interested in buying this car or test driving this car. Where is the test drive going to be? Who's going to be in charge? And everything we've learned about the customer during his journey. And then from the salesperson's perspective, you'll be receiving an email where you'll see all the important stuff about the customer here. So you'll notice here that he has a customer score down here. I'm not sure how clear it is, but he got a customer score. With this customer score, we can basically say how likely is he to convert based on what we've talked about and based on what he's done on the website, along with also a link to the actual details of the customer. So when is the, what we call it, the event going to happen? What's the customer's information? And what's the chat history that you've been having with this customer?
Wow. Andrew, I have a question for you. It's a yes or no question, and it was not in the list.
Sure.
The question was sent to us. This guy, Seezar, works 24 hours a day, including Saturdays and Sundays?
It works 24 hours a day, and it's trained based on your own salespeople as well. So if you have conversations with the salespeople that you actually own the conversations, we're able to train on that as well. We're working with some of the dealers on making the conversations answer exactly like your customer support would answer by putting in the conversations they've already had with customers and answering the same kind of way. This one here is basically a customer support that is 24 hours a day and is as well knowing as your best employee when it comes to what information you have available for it. So all the training material and everything you've prepared for your salespeople or for your customer support, if you put it into the system here, it'll be able to answer the same way as the best guy can answer. It still doesn't have the human touch, but it has the knowledge of what a sales guy would have. And it can even also be used for helping the salespeople answer questions that they might not be able to answer normally because I forgot, what was it said in that document? Seezar knows.
And this guy, what is the salary for this guy?
So the salary, we can send some more details about the pricing here. It's price per location. But like we were saying before, it's very, very cheap when you look at the comparison between a customer, what you call a service, and what the bot here costs.
Okay. How does Seez get dealer information to feed Seezar? And what efforts does implementing Seezar represent for dealers?
So we focused a lot on trying to make it super simple to onboard. So we gather all the information. Like you can take it in multiple layers. The more information you provide, the better and more accurate he becomes. So we start by looking at the website, all the information that's available on the website that we can actually use to train. Then we go in and look at your FAQs. and any documents that you decide to upload, we can then put in there. We support any document formats, so PDF, Word files, CSV files, even APIs if you have some JSON information. We can put all that in there, and he can answer those, anything you put to him. He can launch like straight out of just scanning your website, but the more you teach him, just like an employee, the better he gets. So it's up to you how much you want to invest into making him better. But it literally only takes a website, and preferably that website has an FAQ, then we can start answering. For the inventory, you just provide us with your API feed for your inventory, or upload your cars in our backend system, then you can do the same thing, and then he'll be able to start searching through your inventory, send you leads, everything like that. So it's very, very easy to get started.
Final question. What does Seez envision as the future of AI in the automotive industry?
So I like the point that was said before there with Pixar on the future of AI. I don't think that Seezar is going to go and replace all the customer support, but I think he's going to enable the customer support and the salespeople to offer a service that we've never seen before. And especially when we're doing all this stuff here with digitization, it's the right time now to also go in and see how can we give the customers a new experience without increasing our costs. And that's what AI exactly can do. AI can go out and offer information that they need at the right time. Most of you know, like if a customer walks into the showroom today, sometimes they have more information than the salesperson does because they've researched so thoroughly. But with the AI, you can help the salesperson to be on the same level and have all the information he needs to have at his hand to give the best service to the customer. And that's how we envision that AI is going to influence it here. It's not going to go and take the jobs away. It's going to go and shift who are the people that works in the automotive industry and how are they going to support the customers.
Great. Thank you very much
for
your presentation.